Here we have another free plugin. This is Pulsar W495 Equalizer. This is a 3-band EQ, normally used for mastering, but you can also use it on individual tracks as well. This is a mid-side EQ, and of course it's based on the hardware, the Neumann W495 3-band mastering EQ. Very expensive EQ, as you can see, and if you look at the interface, it looks exactly the same as the plug-in version. So that is what this is modeled on. It has some of that analog goodness, some of those non-linear distortions and colorations that you get with the actual hardware. So as you push this harder, you can get more saturation, more color, especially like in the lower end. And a lot of producers, especially in like the 70s, 80s, and 90s, would say this is like a magic kind of a unit to add sparkle and some color on the low end, but add some sparkle and clarity on the top end without any harshness. All right, so how to use it? Very simple, real quick. Have a full mix here. Down here, you'll see we have our mid side, or if it's on MS, then it's just going to do both. But we have the mid and the side controls here. Mid refers to what's coming down the middle, not like a frequency range of 500 hertz or whatever you think of as mid-range. Okay, so that's what's coming down the middle of, say, our spectrum, our scope here. Okay, then the sides, of course, would be what's on the sides. So we can EQ separately from what's coming down the middle versus what you're hearing on your sides. So we'll start with sides. Something that's very normal to do with a mid-side EQ is to boost the top end because it brings out that clarity. And depending on what you're, adjusting, it can bring out some almost like etherealness. So as you see, as I push this, I can push this up to plus 15 dB. And it's not harsh, right, at all. I'm just doing the sides. Pull just the sides down. Okay, so we'll just open that up a little bit. Actually makes it slightly wider. You also see a little pop-up as you hover over each of your nodes. So we can actually adjust things right from in here if you wanted. So if I wanted to double click in here and I wanted it to be, 8 kilohertz or something, then I can just type it in. Although it's much easier to just, grab it and drag it around or use your knobs in here. So another thing that's normal to do with a MS or mid-side EQ would be to come down to the low end, put it on the mid setting, and let's add some weight to that low end. So we're just hitting that right in the middle, pumping it up, giving it some weight, giving it some girth, and it's not too wide and it's not overpowering the top end, right? If I just did mid side, so I end up doing both, as you can see, it's got a B there for both, just basically like your stereo EQ. So I pump that up. It can get a bit muddy if I do just the mid. You can pump that up. Another thing you could do, which you might want to try, is put it on the side setting and cut the sides of the low end, so that way it just leaves what's coming down the middle. So that's another technique that is often used. So we'll just use it on this guitar track here. I can pull this out, resize it to whatever I want. We have some additional controls over here in this menu as well. You can also make the interface smaller if you don't want to see your spectrum there. All right, so individual track here. We'll do sort of the same thing. We're going to open up that top end, and you're actually going to see it get a bit wider as we switch this over to the sides. And we'll start somewhere around here, I guess. Now watch over here. You can see how much wider that's getting. Pull it down. Gets a bit narrower, right? So bring out some clarity. Sounds very good. Same thing on the low end. We'll just go to the mid setting here. And I want to add some more thump to that without getting muddy. low end power. So as I really push that, there's a lot of energy in that middle. As you can see, just pushing it here. If I put that on just mid side, just both. Now it's also enhancing any side content of this low end signal, right? So it might end up getting muddy and conflicting with the top end. So that's really the cool thing about your mid side EQ. So of course we have a center band here as well. And this one is adjustable, so we can change the size of the Q here. Okay. So wider or more narrow, same stuff here, mid, side, or do the mid and side together, whatever you want. So in this case, maybe it gets a little boxy around here. I'll tighten it up and pull it out. Just to clean it up, right? But what I may want to do is maybe just pull the mid part out and let the sides, expand. We also have auto gain over here. So with that auto on it, just make sure that we're not, really boosting things up and liking the difference in level. It keeps everything at the same, at the same level. So that way you're only hearing the result of what you do. Now, you don't always want to leave that on, in my opinion. Sometimes we want to boost it. Sometimes we really want to boost something here and get more of that saturation of this analog gear, and then maybe adjust it to however we want, whether it's more or less on the output. It's totally up to you, all right? So leave it on or turn it off, up to you. I'll leave it on for this video. Just cut the mid out of the mid-range here. So that allows my low end to come through. It allows my high end to come through. And then that middle part of the mid-range, the sides are still going to come through. But some of that boxiness is being pulled down, right? Of course, we could do the opposite there. We could pull the sides out. Or we could even, let's make that Q wider. We could throw in some more side energy in that mid-range. All kind of stuff you can do with your mid-side EQ here. All right. Little chimey for me, I would probably go with this. There we go. Head right over here. Of course, the link will be in the description below. This will be free until October 31st of 2023. Now you will own it forever. You just have to pick it up by that date. All right. So AAX, AU, VST compatible. So that means it works in every DAW, $99 value, get it 100% for free, as long as you pick it up by October 31st. All right. So head over here, read more about it, learn more about it, and pick up this really cool magic sounding mastering EQ based on the actual Neumann hardware. Head over here and pick up your free Pulsar W495 EQ for free.